What's poppin'? Welcome to House of Harlem Studio, and I am your host, Kia L. And as per usual, the host in the building, Shaka L. Bay. And last but not least, we'll have our host, Waji. I like to say on the ones and twos in the chat room. The co-host will be in the chat room, and we have a lot to talk about. A lot. My producer Shaka has enlightened me on the things that we're going to speak about today. Usually, I'm prepared and have all the topics that I need, but you know what? There's a different format. So he just enlightened me on the U.S. is moving forward to accepting, I think, Ukrainian refugees. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys are up on the Wendy Williams topic, but Wendy Williams resurfaced out of thin air, and she basically, I don't know, spoke about her health conditions, spoke about that she'll be back on TV. But the most awkward and weirdest thing is that it was audio. We didn't see any visual of her. Very interesting, guys.
But
So we did.
wait till they see this one if they haven't seen it yet. This
Okay.
one is basically talking about, she's getting after people that's supposed to be a part of her team, so
So he will be playing a little video or possibly audio on in the latest update with Wendy Williams. We have no idea what's going on. If you haven't been on in looking in the news, Kanye West is, has been going on the rant lately. I know we touched on the topic of Kanye 2 weeks ago, but it's just like been a reoccurring thing since we've spoken about it. So we want to know your opinion on if he's right or wrong, okay? Because at the end of the day, he has beautiful children, and we want to just kind of get kind of like go through memory lane with Kanye and his music and his personal life. I don't know if any of you guys have seen his documentary. It was very, very, it felt very personal. It felt relatable. But ultimately, the very end of the part two that I did watch, it definitely he has some mental health, and we want to speak about the correlation, or if there's any correlation between mental health and the truth. So I definitely want to give you my commentary on that. We supposedly are at war. I don't want to say we. The U.S., to my understanding, hasn't launched any missiles, but there are a lot of talks about who the United States is in alliance with, and it seems so far that our president, Joe Biden, the man who has dementia, is definitely um, um, coming for Russia. So we're gonna analyze what's really going on with Ukraine and Russia, and just kind of figure out, is the media playing us? I know that Biden recently uh, made a statement in regards to the ban of social media in Russia, but what does that really mean? And do we feel threatened in any way to be able to have correspondence with one another on the technical side? So there's so much to be talking about. There's so much underlying issues that are surfacing. But we have to see things for what they truly are and not what the media is portraying it to be. The media is being told what to do for the most part. And now we have to rely on one another to be our own journalists and to be able to figure out what's really going on a day-to-day basis, and to prepare for excuse me, and to prepare for it. Chocolate, can I have something to drink? So, um, this is a very interesting moment in time. We are really going through it. History has repeated itself, and you can kind of get any my apple juice or anything. We can really try to get.
Also, you want to talk about Eric Adams lifting the mandate on pro athletes and entertainers. Why is he being selective about who can and can't move about and earn a living? That's interesting.
Simultaneously, they're making a new law that's no different from the racial profiles that we've been dealing with since dinosaur years, should I say. And we don't want to be fooled by these new terms or these new words that they use, but they're pretty much given a go to just arrest anyone for anything. And we really have to talk about this. We have to talk about it. Remember, we had the stop and frisk rule. So now they're just, re-ramping and reforming what is considered criminal. And they're coming after our young male and females. And so we have to be aware of these things and definitely put ourselves in a position for us not to fall subject to these reforms and to these things that they haven't planned for us. So let's talk about it. I had the pleasure of speaking with someone today that was from Ukraine and hearing his perspective of what's going on, and he enlightened me on a couple of things. So the issues that Ukraine and Russia are having is really like very interesting. But one thing he said for sure is the land. Ukraine, they just recently discovered that Ukraine has a resource that was recently discovered. And that resource is one of the reasons for this war to be coming out, because obviously resources money, and people will fight long and hard to try to get it, or try to prevent you from selling it, or prevent you from making money from it. So with that being said, we're going to read a lot of articles. We're going to give our commentary on many things. Thank you. I'm always yawning on here, so I always got to make sure I drink my juice. Because by this time, I'm tired. I believe this is maybe the hardest I've ever worked in my entire life. And this is the first time that I am working for myself. So I am learning in the moment, in this time, to be self sufficient and make my way. So I asked all of my House of Harlem studio family to be patient with me as I continue to yarn every time I get on here. But and also our tardiness. We had a set time for 2 plus years straight, and unfortunately, as we start to create our new system, we will be running this segment around 9 or 9:30 every Thursday. I hope you guys enjoyed the last interview that we did at the Carbon Juice Lounge with some of our folks who kind of just chopped it up with us in regards to the projects that they have going on, in regards to the music that they like, they have collaborated with. And I would always like for you guys to support all of the guests that come on this show, because they come on here, they believe in us, they know that we are a full out production team, they know that we are good at what we do, and they know that we have a pretty good following of people who are willing to support, and we appreciate you every step of the way. But with that being said, I really want to dig into some of this information. I want to send positive energy. I want to send high frequency and high vibration to you guys, and I'm sending lots of blessings and prayers to everyone out here in the world, especially the children throughout the world, whether it's there in Ukraine, whether they're here in the Americas, or any walks of life in any place on this earth, right? All children are children, and I see them as such no matter what. But these grown ass adults, screw you, okay? Screw you. I have had the pleasure of having a conversation today which enlightened me on one or more than one perspective of what's going on in Ukraine. But the other half of my conversation, well, the initial conversation was all about business, as usual, and the possibilities of partnership with this person from Ukraine. But outside of that, I got to see firsthand the perspective of, once again, people who are not of my nationality, not of my race, and not of my culture. So I got firsthand experience and pretty much understanding the mindset of that person. And is just unfortunate. It's just really unfortunate that people outside of your culture till this day is continuing to benefit from you, continuing to put their children through college. They're continuing to build their empire. They're continuing to keep their empire off the backs of the melanated people. And they're doing it in such a way that they no different from that they've been doing for ions of years. And it's very interesting how 9 times out of 10, very big number, that they always use one of your own people to help them in the door to your culture, help them in the door to getting what they want to get out of your culture. I am not innocent by far, because I am definitely doing business. My business does have principles, rules, and values, and we cannot be sold the way they want to sell us. We cannot be exposed the way they want to, but still, in some way, shape, or form, we're doing business. Would you agree to that, Shaka?
Yes.
So, with that being
Absolutely.
said, it was very interesting that I was having this conversation with someone who's from Ukraine. First and foremost, he let me know that 1 out of 4 people are pretty much in the families between Ukraine and Russia. So that means that sometimes he gave the analogy or the example that his grandmother can be Ukrainian, his grandfather can be Russian, and this is how the families mix. And he said 1 and 4. So that is a very, very small pot. So you got pretty much family fighting with family. And so that's one area to look at it at. So that's number one. Family is fighting with family, and it's unfortunate because the innocent people are the ones that are going to get injured, right? But business is business as usual. Shaka.
I agree. Business.
We're gonna have to read these articles. So he went on to say, he went on to make mention that Ukraine, I don't know if this is true. This is hearsay by him. Has probably the only, or if 1 out of 2, the land in Ukraine, their soil is very fertile. Their soil hasn't been really tampered with. Their soil doesn't really have the GMOs in there. And so it's very fertile and a lot of things can grow there. Now, me with my common sense, yes, you can take a seed from Africa and grow it in Ukraine and vice versa, but some things are best left in the native land in which it comes from, right? So he didn't go into depth about Ukraine and the soil, but I would like Shaka to do his research and see how true is this. Really want to research, what are the number one countries that have soil that has not been tampered with. I do know that since the 1930s, the soil has been really messed up, and it doesn't provide all the necessary nutrients that we need to live the most healthiest life. This is why nowadays most of us, take supplements, right? So, but according to this guy, the soil is not tampered with, and you can grow most of what you need to grow there. And you can grow most of what you need to grow there, and it will give you all of the nutrients that you need. So let's visit that. Another thing is, and I can't really explain verbatim, or probably can't even paraphrase it, but he mentioned something about the missiles. There was an inspection that was done, and because technology continues to evolve, as he mentioned in this conversation, he was just stating that now the way the new missiles are made, I believe that Ukraine, they found out that the way the missiles are with that are in Russia, they're now not on the offensive side, but now it's used as a defensive mechanism, and they're not having that. So they have an issue with that. So those are some of the things that you may want to research on your own time to kind of figure out the technology aspect of the missiles, and that can kind of guide us as to where to have a better understanding of what's really going on between Ukraine and Russia in the world. But also, as we always say, follow the money. When you follow the money, you start to really get an understanding, and understanding what's really going on. So we're just going to do the remix today, and just look for some stuff. Let's look for some articles. Shock, I hope that what you're looking for, the people will be able to read with us and kind of give their own analogy of what they believe is going on and give their commentary about what they think is going on. Let's go.
All right. All right.
I want to give a few shout outs. I want to give a shout out as he's looking now. I want to give a shout out to Shaka. I want to shout you out. Thank you for being my rock and my headache at the same time, but thank you for being my rock. So I'm going to give you a shout out. Thank you so much.
And I would like to give you a shout out
Oh, thank you.
for being my anchor. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
That's just that black love that I want to start putting in the air. You know, I have so many conversations that spiral out of control and leave such a negative stench and, a stitch in my heart in regards to the hope of the black, in regards to the hope of the melanated male and female getting ourselves together on a larger scale. But there's hope. There's going to be change that's going to come. And so every so often, no matter if you're intimate with someone, no matter if they're just friends, no matter if they're just a relative, a male relative or female relative, take the time out to just tell them how much you appreciate them and how much you acknowledge them, and give them their props and their flowers as much as you can. Let your fears go of them leaving you. Let your fears go of them being more successful than you or higher than you. Let all of those things go and just really start to just focus on yourself and see as much positive as you can, because at this point the negative exists. The negative seems to overpower the positive. It's easy to do negative. It's easy to do bad. It's easy to be malice. So let's fight hard to just do the opposite of that. So shout out to all the beautiful melanated people in the world who love on each other, who appreciate each other, who
all
work
right.
so hard to stay strong.
Now check this out. It says,
Yes.
um, according to cyberspace, I'll leave it at that. It says until Russia invaded Ukraine, the Great Reset was failing miserably. Knowing how the cult operates, we warned back in April of 2021 that the globalists were surely preparing another crisis. So they believe, or
Can they
according-
see? Can they see this? Is it
No,
possible for them?
I don't want to get. We'll get flagged for this. Just
Okay.
for the website alone.
Okay.
Um,
Sorry, guys.
you just gotta, just sit back and let us do the dirty work.
So preparing for another crisis. So what was the other? What was the first one?
Uh, the pandemic.
One thing I do know for sure is that the World Economic Forum, the WEF, these people always predict things before they actually happen. So you might want to always constantly be on their sites, just reading, just finding out what their next prediction is going to be. Because more than likely, it's going to happen. However,
So now,
I digress.
what's going on is it's believed that Ukraine is being speculated allegedly to being the first victim of this reset. So the Great Reset is, according to this story here, Ukraine. It says, while everyday Ukrainians have their entire existence taken over by war, the Ukrainian government silently implemented the Great Reset and barely anyone even noticed. As a result, Ukraine became the first country in the world that surrenders to the New World Order, implementing a social credit score.
Where did we hear that from?
Hmm. A universal basic income, a digital identity, and a slabber passport, all within a single app called Dia.
DIIA, Dyer.
Dia.
So, remember that app, okay? Remember that app. I will tell you guys this much. The social credit system is horrible. We've explained what that's all about on this platform before. And we also explained where they're doing it the most, which is in China. The social credit system is something that you don't want to subscribe to. And at this point, we all need to come together collectively to prevent that from happening. How do we do that? Let's not subscribe to all of these digital things that we have in place. Make payments with the fiat and keep it moving. Because the social credit system is something that you do not want to play around with if you choose to stay here within this realm, within this space and time. Unless you want to go off the grid and live somewhere in the damn woods, I don't know if you want to do that. I don't think you should subscribe to that at all. At all. But anyway, so that's one theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. New York City Educational Department promotes gay pornography in public school. Not surprising.
Not surprising, but why now? If you don't have I mean, I guess in case you didn't have enough
What are you doing
distraction,
now? Can you just leave that alone?
in case you didn't have enough distractions, you know what I'm saying?
We're
They,
not going to even go into that because we do have enough. We got to continue to find out what's going on with Ukraine, what's going on with Russia, what role do this United States corporation has, and most importantly, how do we prepare for that? We've had a many years of run. We have decades, a decade plus decades where we've been oppressed and we've been at the bottom of of the pole, and maybe up until this moment in time, it was preparing us for something, right? Because we are used to not having as much as other people, so that may be a bonus on our part. We don't know how to live. We know how to live without, so that's a given. And but we have to really and truly prepare ourselves because we can just easily fall into the traps of what they're planning on doing next. We've had a long run, a long 2+ year run with just dealing with the Rona itself and the up and down roller coaster that this dear government has put us through. FYI, Dr. Fauci stated that there's a new variant called the uh, Deltacron, a combination of the Omicron and Delta, and that we should still focus on the Rona. But he also stated that he's going to retire. How interesting! Yeah, he said he can't stay up here forever, and he's going to retire. So maybe that's an article that Shaka would like to read because these are one of the situations where you can't make that up.
and this is Little Cook.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the head leader of the CDC.
And one thing that I want to ask people out there, like, how valid or how much do you put your um, your faith
I
in
got scars.
statistics. How valid are statistics to you?
Ooh, good question. I like that question. I like it because that just falls in the category of the previous conversations I have with just the male and female species and people's perspective on it. And a lot of people have been throwing these statistics to support their claim, which is always half-sided. Statistics are nothing more than documented experiences from the people who choose to give you the right that give you the information, and hopefully it is correct,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's just one perspective on it. It doesn't give you the root of the statistics if needed be. I can give you an example. I was just telling Shaka, someone was making a statement about women and about how 80%, according to the CDC, I don't even know if it's on the CDC, but I don't know if the CDC really calculates marital issues or whatever, but somebody said CDC. But according to the CDC, 80% of women are the ones who file for divorce. Now, that statistic may be up there, right? But there's another perspective that we didn't that wasn't mentioned, and that is only what I'm giving you a percent. I'm not quite sure if this is accurate, but I know it's a very low number. But only 25% of melanated women are getting married in the first place. So you got 80% of divorce of 25%. So that whole 80% of women is not melanated women. Okay, that doesn't have anything to do with us, right? So that's just like a perspective in itself, because we're not getting married like that. We're having babies out of marriage, although some people have their own understanding of what marriage is, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with paperwork. My mother used to say back in the days, marriage, when you lay down, you're married. When you lay down with a man, and she called it, and when you're with that man for some time, you are it's common law marriage. But that's neither here or there. So that's one perspective to look at. The another perspective is 80% of women are filing for divorce. Why? Why are the 80% of women filing for divorce? Why is it the women? What's going on? We got to figure out the root to that situation. So you can give your little thesis or your explanation of what you think is, but that's not the end all be all. It just isn't. So it's just for us pretty much to come together. Yes, we do have to have a conversation, but that conversation has to be very transparent and very open. And you have to be willing to look in the mirror, be a reflection, and hold yourself accountable for whatever issues that you are dealing with when it comes to that. But that's a good question. That's a good question. That is a good question.
Yeah.
Because even with the census, y'all know we don't be filling them out. And if we do, you know we be lying our asses off. So let's keep it real. You know the Mexicans ain't filling out no census. They hiding half of the time because they ain't got their paperwork. They ain't got the green card. So where's these statistics coming from? And if you don't think they could be manipulated, shit, they manipulated the voting thing last voting. You seen them filling out the cards and doing all of that. There's so much that plays a role in it. So I don't see it any different than what's going on now. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to put that down live. My sister is tired.
Let our community know we in the building right
Okay,
now. All right.
that's
So,
okay.
uh, uh,
Yep. Statistics. We gotta find out why are the men angry. Why don't the men want to really get married? You know, they're dealing with what they're dealing with, and you know we have to have empathy for them and try to make changes for the men as well. So we're all in the pot. We're all being brainwashed. We're all most of us are. I don't want to say all, but most. We're all. Most of us are regurgitating things that we're hearing repetitively on the social media, and it's just full circle. Everything is going back full circle. Fauci hints at retirement. Go ahead, Shaka, knock yourself out and read that,
He
because you're an astute
says,
reader.
all right,
What did he say?
accord, oh,
If you guys can't hear, let him know. According to what? The CDC again? The statistics.
top U.S. infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci is hinting at retirement as cases of the C stuff infections and hospitalizations remain low. Quote, I have said that I would stay in what I'm doing until we get out of the pandemic phase. And, uh, and I think we might be there already. Fauci told, spoke on another broadcast. I can't stay at this job forever unless my staff is going to find me slumped over my desk one day. I'd rather not do that, he added. So he's clearly, and the man is 81 years old.
He is?
He's 81 years old, and his remarks came under fire from conservative lawmakers who feel the pandemic restrictions he pushed have gone too far. Rand Paul, for people who are in the know, he's somebody that has been checking this man, chin checking
every
him
step of the way
for months.
Facts.
He's been chin checking him at every opportunity he can.
He wanted him removed, and you know what, we gotta support him and clap. You know, he's stuck in there. I'm surprised he didn't just disappear off the planet the way he been coming at Fauci and challenging him and bringing statistics and data and emails and so many other things. But the gain of function and all this other stuff, and he knew about this and that. So it's interesting. Now, the numbers are low according to this article, but there's a new variant that they said supposedly is is all around Europe. Is that correct? And it's called
They say it is,
Delta
but
Cron.
there's no reports coming out like that can confirm or deny what is being
Delta Cron.
speculated.
Right. Very interesting. Very interesting. Um. Yeah. I don't like it here, man. This world is. Ah. You just can't. However, read the next article.
Now, another thing I want people to be aware of, with everything that's going on, look at what they're trying to push out there in front of you. Be mindful of what the masses, I would say, the establishment, I would say, be on the lookout for what these people are trying to get you to put your attention into, like digital currency. With everything that's going on, they're trying to push this digital currency thing by way of, as I read earlier, the social credit system. This is one way that is believed and has been spoken on in other circles on a means to control you and control and stifle your movement.
Right, and some people are to the understanding that they're already doing that. They're already controlling our movement, and they're doing what they're doing. So we're bugging out. You're a conspiracy theorist. Blah 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 blah. No, there's levels to this, boo. There is levels to this, and we're nowhere near. Well, we're close to, but not exactly in there when it comes to the social credit system. Like, you guys need to watch the documentary on that in China. Like, if you even take your toe and put it out across the curve and it's an illegal walk and you haven't literally walked, only your toe stepped out, something is automatically coming into the mail for you to do community service. If you don't do it, then you cannot have a job. You cannot apply for an apartment. And then even if the credit if the system messes up, it could just mess you up in life. There were people who took the slabber jabber and they woke up one morning and all of their history was erased, and they was urged to report to somewhere and do this and do that. That is not something you want. Matter of fact, them people don't even use credit cards. They only use QR codes or whatever. So the social credit system is something that you do not want to take part in, because it is horrible. If you think we have it bad now, that's on a whole nother level. So these people don't have full control over you. These people know that there was too many people on this earth, and if there be any uprising, it would just, London Bridge will be falling down. So they have so many things in place to keep their position and to keep their control. And it's just unfortunate that too many of us subscribe to the BS more than the people who don't. And that's the only reason why they can be able to get away with this. And so there's tiers and there's levels to this. But the higher level of things, there's no race involved. There's no racism involved. It is what it is. They put the racism under that to be involved, to keep, us bickering and fighting and arguing with one another. And that's the bottom line. The conversation that I had with someone who is 100% Ukrainian, from Ukraine, that we want to do business with. He want to do business with us bad. We got the good that he need. All right, and so much so that he wants our product on Wall Street. And listening to this man speak, and even his understanding of regentification I can clearly see why we're in the situation that we're in now. So there's levels to this, and they're not quite there yet with us. All right, Shaka, read the next articles.
Okay, so now it is believed that the dollar will die and the ruble will dominate as commodities based currencies make paper fiat obsolete. Now, one thing I want y'all to know is that although they're trying to really hit sanction and bankrupt Russia, they're trying to hit Russia with the sanctions and bankrupt Russia.
Who is
Russia? I would say the UN, NATO. Because it's basically, some countries. I can't speak in specifics on what countries are support what Putin is doing. I don't know what countries.
It's just about who, right? They're
is,
forming alliances. Everyone has their own alliance that they're with, and they're choosing a side. And that's it. This is what's orchestrated.
This is where it gets crazy.
Okay.
And people in the chat, do your research.
Do your research.
So now, what happens is they try to hit uh, Russia with all of these sanctions, and in retaliation or in response to that or rebuttal, Russia has continued to sell oil to different nations, but they said you can only pay us in rubles because if anybody is aware of the petrodollar, the petrodollar is what was keeping or what is keeping America afloat in regards uh, to their ability to maintain and be
The petrodollar.
to be a force in that in the world market. The petrodollar, yes. So now,
So they want to play them in ruble, and ruble will soon dominate.
right. So now, with this being said, Russia is like, okay, y'all want to hit us with sanctions? You want to do all of this? All right, we're gonna go back on, you know. But this time, you're gonna pay us in rubles because the dollar has been, the United States dollar has been the world currency to some degree. So it was agreed that if anybody wanted to buy oil or buy resources from another country, that they would use the U.S. dollar. And that's what kept the U.S. dollar valid for so long because you have other countries and other nations that are passing that tissue paper around.
So it's going to become obsolete and basically null and void, canceled. You're done. And it's unfortunate because these are some of the things that we just don't want. It puts the rest of us in a very tight situation, and as per usual, the 85% is who suffers. So that's a news fact. Let's go down.
Right. So now, another thing that I want y'all to be aware of is that um, Biden spoke about a cyber attack they were expecting. Now, keep in mind, y'all gotta listen very carefully to how this man said this. He says we are expecting a cyber attack on U.S. soil. Now, we're supposed to be a superpower in this game.
Number one in the
How
world.
can you expect something but not discuss or speak on any means of defending what's yours, or standing in defense on what you expect?
They're never. They're never. He never said someone will attempt to do a cyber attack, but they will not win. You do it, and you're gonna have to pay the consequences with it. Just like you said in defense for Russia.
Right.
You said, "Buck, if you tough, right?" You told them, you mess with Ukraine, there's gonna be an issue. So how can you expect a cyber attack and you don't issue out any warnings of anything? You know what I'm saying? You just don't do it. How is that possible? So these are the things that we have to take into consideration when we're listening to these idiots, because we've become so aware of their tactics. We've become this era is amazing to me. We have gone through so much for decades now, but the last 2 years have been pretty intense. And now you have a plethora of journalists such as House of Harlem Studio, and so many people across the world analyzing certain things, reading between a fine line, questioning everything. and using their critical thinking, using certain things to put things together. And it's just in a beautiful moment because these people cannot just tell us anything anymore. We are in the age of Aquarius. Our pineal glands are like shaking. They're like in activation right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line. You guys go out and put a second fake ass sun up there, but guess what? You know what I'm saying? It's making our hair beautiful, and it's giving us the radiance that we need, whatever that may be. Listen, where is that sun anyway? Where is that sun? No one has even talk about the sun that China or whoever, whatever Asian company, yeah, they're a company to a corporation, whatever Asian country put it out there.
All right.
Anyway, let's
Now
go.
check this out. While U.S. still occupies Iraq, going on 20 years, y'all.
That's crazy.
They invaded Iraq 20 years ago on claims of whatever they was claiming, and you know how that happened. You know what
The
happened.
same thing that's happening with Ukraine.
It
now.
says now we're condemning Russia for invading Ukraine. Now, one thing people don't know is Ukraine is a neo-Nazi
They messing with these people, man.
hotbed. You know what I'm saying?
These people prepared.
And
These people prepared.
they're one of the most. It's been reported. Let me say allegedly. Allegedly, it's been reported that they have been one of the most corrupt nations in the world.
Probably not. Well, I want to look at Ukraine soil. Just try to put that in a search engine and see what comes up. Please see what comes up because there's some gases that supposedly they just recently. I'm hearing that they just recently found, and this may be. Just don't like I'm beyond it. This may be one of the reasons out of many that there is issues between the two. I just oh man, did you see the paper machine guns that these people it's beyond me, boy, I tell you. What type of soil is in Ukraine? Hmm. Let's find out. Um, our potential partner is from Ukraine, and he broke some things down. Very interesting what he said. Let's see.
It says Ukraine, the second largest country in Europe, is known as the region's breadbasket thanks to its black Chernozem soil, which is highly fertile and rich in organic matter called humus.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting?
Now it says, why is Ukraine so fertile? Chernozem is the rich black soil that makes Ukraine one of the most fertile places on earth. It is a soil that was formed from very fine mineral particles that prehistoric winds carried away from ancient glacial beds. The wind acted as a huge filter, says a doctor, geomorphologist in Ukraine. Does Ukraine have the best soil? Ukraine has some of the most fertile soils in the world, including the famous Chernozems, deep black soils rich in humus. Chernozems occupy about half of the country, which is about 68% of the
Damn.
of the arable land. You know.
So I spoke with a potential business partner who is from Ukraine, and this is what he mentioned. Part of this issues that the Russian and Ukrainians have, although they're family, they've married and had children, 1 out of 4, very, very, very close. have mentioned this black soil. This is the number one soil that you can plant something and all of the nutrients will be in the plant, because I don't know if you know, since the 1930s they effed up the soil all across the globe, especially here in Americas, and we're not getting all the nutrients that the typical fruit and vegetables are supposed to give us. This is why we take supplements, the GMOs and all that stuff stopped and blocked that from happening. Now, can you please talk about natural gases in Ukraine? Can you please type that up? So these are some of the perspective problems that may be the core. I don't want to say problems, but perspective reasons that there may be war between Ukraine and Russia, which usually is never limited to those two. Of course, you know, our people definitely is probably the behind the scenes spearheads of it all, but I digress. But remember, soil, minerals, land, resources. These are the number one reasons from since dinosaur years why we go to war, why we fight. Okay? Why? Why? So outside of that, I'm hearing missiles were also another issue. But let's see. Gases in Ukraine. Gas found in Ukraine. Hello? We have to do that because it's very much possible that, you know, these people are playing games with us. Hold on. Gases in Ukraine. We're gonna be ending things very soon, but let's.
Ukraine. Okay. Gases.
Not gases, but I guess um that's not the proper. Let's put gas recently found in Ukraine.
Oh.
The forgotten potential of Ukraine energy reserve by the water. So you know it's on, right? Then it's up. Ukraine was estimated to possess natural gas reserves at over 1 trillion cubic meters and was ranked 26th among countries with proved reserves of natural gas before China.
Crimea
Crimea
was annexed
by the Russia Federation in 2014. No, that was we're talking about some recent findings. They're ranked 26, but this recent findings, they're probably ranked number one right now. Things happen. Things happen. Gases travel. So they've traveled over to Ukraine, and it's like now it's up. You know, you pass that gas, it travels. It travels. Let's see what's going on. The Ukraine War live. Ukraine to expand fossil fuel. Key findings about Ukraine gas deal Trump allies. Oh, really? Gas finding videos. 6.5 million people displaced inside Ukraine due to war. What lies beneath? Key findings. Investigation.
Okay.
Well, they're probably not going to put that up there. They probably don't want you to know about that. But
Yeah.
this man that I had this conversation with hit it on the nail when he spoke about the soil, the black soil that's all over Ukraine and the importance of it. Uh, choo, 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 choo. Is there anything else?
Okay, I gotta put this on. I gotta put this out there real quick. This is something we talked about earlier. Yep, and we want to kind of go into it a little bit. We want to, now that the family is in the building, I'll let y'all see what it do, be about.
Was you gonna play a video?
Yeah.
All right, and after this video, we are.
No, we're not done. We're not done. Uh, check this out.
My thing is that I've been asking questions about my money. And when I began asking questions about my money, suddenly Lori Schiller has got no response regarding my money. I want my money. This is not fair. And Wells Fargo has no questions and answers with regarding my money. This is not fair. And Lori Schiller and Wells Fargo have this guardianship petition about keeping me away from my money. This is not right. And you know this is not fair. And this guy named Bernie Young, I know for a fact that Bernie Young used my American Express card to hire an attorney to file a petition against me. That was done with my American Express card. Bernie Young, you're no good. And this is not fair at all, you know? And then there's this person, this a former doctor, okay, had medical information about me that I never even got. It was sent over to Lori Schiller. So I haven't gotten the stuff. I fired the doctor. And again, all I want to know is where is my money? This is not right. And certainly, this is not fair. This is not fair.
Why we can't hear the rest?
I thought it was ended. But I didn't remember it being that long. And I wanted to start over.
Okay, so he'll be going into the next video. I mean, are you guys convinced? Wendy Williams been on a long hiatus, and she, claimed she needed a break. Never really surfaced. We might have seen her walking here or there. Tasha K broke the news that she was senile and it was over for her. There were talks of Cheryl or whatever being the new co-host on the Wendy Williams show, and we didn't hear anything from Wendy. Her brother made certain statements saying that that's not true. She's not senile. And her son had posted at one point on IG of her smiling and everything was fine. Wendy recently, prior to this video that he showed, just randomly came up, spoke a little bit about her health and spoke about her, being back on TV. right? People questioned why in the crap she comes up. We can't see her. How do we know that's even her? So there was just so many talks about that. And then last but not least, well, I failed to mention before she came on. Then this big thing about this guardianship stuff. And you Moors, y'all know what's up. These are the things that we put in place. All the paperwork that we put in place is to prevent things from this happening, right? So that's why we have our trust in place. We have I don't want to talk about authentication of the birth certificate and doing the annex, doing this and doing that. There's so many levels to it, right? But most importantly, we we the Wells Fargo ceased her account, claiming her to be incompetent, to handle her affairs. And this is where she's at with it right now. Surprisingly, with the connections that Wendy Williams had, and I'm pretty sure she do. But of course, it don't matter what it is. But I would have expected to have offshore bank accounts, and obviously, I wouldn't expect her to have one bank account. I would expect her to have more than many bank accounts, right? When you are doing business at the magnitude that she was, right? And definitely well enlightened and informed within the circles that she was around of how to handle her affairs. But I'm pretty sure she's doing good as far as finances. But yeah, I would damn sure go for my bank account too. Doesn't matter what offshore accounts I have or anything like that. So fast forwarding, she did the audio. We're like, okay, this is suspect. We don't know what's going on. And because if anybody knows Renzi, it's hey, hello. So she came out with this video talking about what's going on, how it was done, or what she suspects of how it was done. And I just want to ask you guys, like, are y'all falling for it? Are you falling for it? Did it look or sound like she had any mental issues to the point where she can't handle her own affairs? I'm thinking she has one child, and although he has a life of his own, did she train him for moments like this? For like, what if something happens to mommy? This is what I need you to do. This is the people I need you to reach out to. Use your intuition, even with the people I tell you to reach out to. If they acting funny or saying certain things, get on up out of there. So I'm just trying to figure out to what magnitude did she train her son into handling these affairs, so forth and so on. I really would like to hear your commentary. I do have a little secret in regards to her son, and in regards to my trip in Honduras. You know what's up, Wendy. So I do know that during that time her son was very young. So I didn't see him. I don't think in that light when he was young he was into the business aspect of things. And her husband was so involved at the time.
But check this out. Check this out.
Where is
Because these are the things that happen when you start bringing people in that you don't know, people that are being recommended to you by other people who don't have your best interests at hand, and things of that nature, and you go and be entrusted because you a friend of somebody.
But it didn't go like that. Sorry to
You
cut you
don't
off.
know how
These
that-
no, well, in her
These
some
are people that were in her corner.
right, but that's what I'm about to say. These people were around her for years. Outside of the doctors,
She's been doing that
her
show for
personal
years.
assistant.
She's been doing
Right.
radio
So
for
wouldn't you
years.
want to trust? How many times have you grew up with people you go, that's my day one, that's on the
Right.
block, right?
Right.
These are not random people. These are people that she's been with 10 and 15 years that you would expect to hold her down in the event something was wrong with her. Why is she having an issue with those people? Her personal assistant. Your personal assistant may change here and there, depending. But your financial advisor, the person who handle your affairs, your manager, managements go in and out sometimes. But for the most part, she had that show for a long time. So, but you got to remember, her husband was the facilitator. He was the one who handled all of that. He was supposed to be her protector to some extent. So, who do you trust? If you've been around people for years, who do you trust? Money changed people. I've learned that.
I don't know, and that's correct. Money does change.
Even with
people.
husband and wives, I remember somebody gave me great advice.
But the bottom line is, clearly her ex-husband was doing something right because this stuff wasn't going on, right? So we don't know what could have happened, what potentially could have happened, what may have happened that we didn't know about, or what, in that regard.
How you know he not doing something to attack her?
The same thing that happened.
Because he went to go file. The husband went to go file for more monies or whatever since this has happened, and not
because
to mention
he was her manager. I don't know the specifics on that. If he had to go file with somebody,
but she gave him money, so why is he filing after Wells Fargo already seized her accounts? You ain't getting no damn money.
To see her the way that the money people started to see her. You know what I'm saying? Because if these people are blatantly going to turn around and use your cards for something such as a lawyer to go
file against you, your own card to file against you.
They don't give a fuck about you.
Right.
They don't give a fuck about you. And these are people that you said were around her for other years.
Yeah, supposedly.
So they didn't give a fuck about her.
No,
then,
that's why you can't.
They don't give a fuck about her now.
You can't trust nobody.
You know
now, Wendy Williams.
Steve Harvey had the same thing happen to him.
But Wendy Williams had a breakdown from her divorce. She was heartbroken. There were news reporters that would run up on her to talk about her divorce, and she was weeping, crying.
Right.
So when you're emotional as a woman, especially in that situation, you're vulnerable.
Okay, she was vulnerable, but she still was going to work. You know what I'm saying? Up to a point. She was still going out there to get that check, so she wasn't too hurt to get paid. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, you was out there doing that, and I sympathize with her. No, you know what I'm saying? Whatever her personal issue is.
Don't sound like it. That woman was hurt.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, it can't be like this on one hand, but you're still out there working, and she probably used work as therapy to get over it.
That's what I'm saying, of course.
And that's cool.
But how you know her husband didn't have a better relationship with those people and telling them what to do on the other end? I'm just giving you other scenarios.
No, but that's what I said. I said he was the one that probably was keeping them at bay. So these people could have probably did her dirty years ago if he wasn't there.
That's not how I'm saying it. I'm saying that because he had probably a better relationship with them, he's telling them what to do, asking them what's going on in the back end, questioning everything and seeing what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? This is why certain people make moves and take everybody out their lives, because you never know who's telling who's telling you. If he was handling their her affairs all that time, he probably have a better relationship with them with them than her. You know how many celebrities said they wanted to be her friend, but her husband blocked them? Many celebrities came out and said that. I think even Meek Mills.
I get that. You know what I'm saying?
So how much help was he doing?
There's a lot of people that, who have people that feel like they got it. We know one.
A celebrity?
Yes.
Yes, we do know a celebrity that feel like that. But yes.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. People just, if they care about a person, sometimes they go a little over, or they become overprotective, but they probably got good reason to do it.
In that situation, you damn right. And he lucky. She or he is lucky.
Too. You know how hard, even though Wendy Williams was a very, very prominent person in the community and on radio back in the day, you know what I'm saying? She's somebody.
My only reason why I can't receive your message is because I heard interviews from other people in regards to how this man was.
I'm not talking
but
about
that
him.
may not be true.
I'm not even talking about him, because she was well known for at least 15 years before she even met him.
Right.
So I'm talking about
So he came in.
pre-married, pre-marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, man. It's just unfortunate that soon as this man, you're right. It's just really unfortunate. And this just goes to show, man, she was left out there to the wolves. But she had to make the move that she had to move because he was disloyal to her. He had a whole fucking baby on her.
I get that.
No,
part.
forget about had a whole baby. Bought a house down the block from them for the other one.
Listen,
You
I'm
bound
not,
to get like I'm like
I'm not even talking about this.
the
dude,
resources.
He came off like a really, really fucked up dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really fucked up. And
He
I
really
think
did.
I'm being kind in saying it that way.
But you see what I was saying? How one of the brothers was saying
This nigga was
his
dirtbag
understand of
when it
cheating
came
with his
down to that situation.
right.
But
The celebrity that we
People-
know, that's a different situation.
none of us know how Wendy was. You know what I'm saying?
She was
We
a
don't-
tough cookie.
Right. She was a tough cookie and all of that. But, you know what I'm saying? We just don't know. We don't know the dynamic that happened between them during their.
Well,
during
even
their-
in
during
her
their
even in
marriage.
her documentary, she made it known that he was her protector. That's what she needed.
Mhm.
She was very vocal about that in her documentary, so she
Right,
appreciates
but-
that.
Right.
She felt
appreciates
safe and
that,
secure.
But still, how was the dynamic? How was he? How was she? We know how apparently how he was treating her, but how was she treating him?
To lead to that,
Nobody knows.
well, according to the documentary,
I mean, and that's let's
that's
say-
her perspective.
Right, but the documentary again is 50% at best.
Probably not even.
You know what I'm saying?
She wasn't cooking for him, cleaning for him,
Nah,
and
I
doing
mean,
what.
see, and I don't know him to know what what he was looking for in that situation outside of the money because we.
Well, I heard it from
Ain't
his
nobody
own.
stupid. This nigga got with her because she had some bread.
I heard right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So that's the thing. But I heard it from his own mouth. That's what she wasn't doing. I heard that from him. So let me tell y'all that. That's exclusive on House of Harlem Studio. Don't say y'all got it from somewhere else.
Nah, but what but that's how that went, man. That's that was an unfortunate situation, and it's really unfortunate now that she got to deal with snakes that's supposed to be in her corner. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like when do a person get a break? She came. She had it rough, but she made some real questionable decisions by her own admission. And
That's true.
she,
That is very true.
you know what I'm saying? So,
And
we only wish the best for her, but we gotta state the facts of what is being presented as the facts as we see it. You know what I'm saying? We're not here to bash our sister. You know what I'm saying? We wish only the best, and we wish her, a speedy recovery emotionally, spiritually, and physically. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to come across like I'm really attacking her, but she's kind of out there on an island, and she's at the mercy of people who don't care about her, and that's clear. These people do not care about her, and there's a lot of people in similar situations that I commend her for coming out and speaking out about it, because some people would have too much pride to say anything about that. So I give her kudos for coming out and calling niggas out. Like, yo, you and you, y'all niggas is trying to play me. Where's my bread at? I hear, you know, Eugenio says she started talking against the Java. Possibly, I don't know. And he said he is her handler. Who? Her man? I mean, her ex-husband? And he says, I don't feel sorry for none of these celebrities. Well, I mean, it's not for us to feel sorry for it. We're not saying that we feel sorry for this for people like that.
For who, Wendy?
Yeah, I mean, Eugenio says I don't feel sorry for none of these celebrities. You know what I'm saying? And we're not talking about this to to seek sympathy for her. You know what I'm saying? But we just want to point out how people make decisions, and these decisions have a detrimental effect on them. That's all I'm saying.
Sorry. You just posted.
So that's what it is. I'm trying to put up
Kanye, what is y'all take on Kanye? Because at the end of the day, Kanye may be suffering from some mental issues, but everything or most of what he's saying is accurate. So, um, it. I feel like we should be mindful of making these two things a correlation because there is none. There is none. Kanye has been banned from Instagram.
He has.
Mm-hmm. He has been banned. Look at this right here, Sean. He has been banned. Wait, hold on, when you try to drop shit with no guidance and wonder. When you drop shit. With no guidance and wonder why the boat sinks. Drop shit. He's trying to tell them that.
Yeah. So then, Yashanan says, folks need to watch 50 Shades of Grey and do the coochie contract.
Gucci contract.
Folks be wolves in sheep's clothing sometimes, and that's one of the points that I was trying to make. It's just unfortunate, that it gotta be at somebody else's expense. You know what I mean? Then the dear says Wendy part of the MC DJ culture. She was putting them on blast back in the day. This is water. This is the watered down version. Alright, I mean, yeah. I mean, let me tell you, Wendy didn't care. She was burying people under the bus. Forget about throwing people. She was burying people under the bus early. So I get that. You know what I'm saying?
I think because she said she not taking a corona shot. She said live on Dr. Oz, I ain't taking it. You understand you know what I'm saying? And when you go against the masses, that's what you're gonna end up with.
Yeah. I mean, that is very well possible. That is very well possible. Um, let me see what this is here. Okay. So we are about to shake, rattle, and roll. Um, we appreciate everybody for being on at this particular time. I mean, I wish we hopefully we can get on, a little bit earlier so we can kind of go into some more things because we definitely had a couple more things that we could go into, but it's getting kind of late, and we not even gonna put it out there like that. We will definitely be back next week. We'll be back next week. We'll make it, you know, we'll make it a very oh no, I didn't know about that. Nadir said, yo, y'all chatting about Jamaica, the Jamaica protest over the Royals asking for reparations. Now, why would the Royals be asking for reparations, though? That's my thing. Why would the Royals be asking for that, yo? I mean, what's going on with that? The Royals are asking for reparations. Come on, y'all. This is something different. This is something very, very different. So, asking the Royals for reparations. Okay, okay. See, that sounds a little bit more, that sounds quite, that sounds quite valid.
It's valid for me.
Well, we got to figure that. We can look into that. We're gonna definitely look into that and see what's cracking with it. You know, but we definitely want to we appreciate everybody in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to our moderators. You know what I'm saying? I thought, I thought. Let me see something. Okay. Crazy World. I think I was able to get you your wrench, so you good bread. You know what I'm saying? You in there like swimwear. Type something up so we can make sure. Type something in the chat so we can make sure if you still awake. You know what I'm saying? Want to see if you know what I'm saying, you got your moderator colors on. But we're gonna look into that Nadir. We're gonna try to see what's going on. And we got one of their own. We have one of their own here. One of their own right here. She can find out something, man. Huh?
What?
You know, huh? Um what you said? The Jamaica protest over the people asking the Royals for reparations.
Okay. Maybe we can find that out.
So yeah, we're gonna definitely find that out and bring, we can talk about that next week. But on behalf of all of you guys, on behalf of
Yes.
the goddess Kia L, the hostess with the mostest. This is your man Shop Dogs, aka Shaka L Bay. You are watching and listening to House of Harlem Studios. House of Harlem TV on House of Harlem Studios. We will see y'all next week. And for those that know, we will see y'all on Sunday. All right. Peace to the gods, everybody.
I don't know. What are you doing? 10 seconds to try to work that out. Good luck.
Um, ooh, um, Pat, this puzzle's kind of difficult. Ooh, ooh. Can I buy a vowel?